And we're live again on the Pirate Broadcast. And I just want to welcome you and encourage you to follow the Pirate Broadcast hashtag. And we bring interesting people doing interesting things. And we have a special guest today, author, speaker, and a coach, and many things. A pirate joke teller, maybe.
Yes.
And possibility.
Wearer of fez hats.
Yes.
I have a fez. Yes. I wear many hats, including a fez hat. I have a tricorn hat too. Sorry.
Welcome to the day. How are you today?
I am in a great mood, but that means I'm going to be a little impish. So people on LinkedIn are going to see a side to me that only people like Lila Smith and Shar Auckland know.
Well, let's unfold this whole episode and bring the crazy out and have some fun. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we can bring to the table, right?
I'm up for, I love that word, and I love shenanigans. I'm always up. Did you know fun is my number 4 value?
Oh, no, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's why I always try to have some.
Well, that's my primary mode. Is I love to find joy in the moment and then enjoy the things that are happening around me. And this is why I do this, is to, interesting people, interesting conversations, typically on the fun side. So now I noticed in the LinkedIn feed today that you just released the video for the Disrupt speaking engagement that you had. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after I bombed my TEDx audition, I decided I would give Disrupt HR a go because I'm not a quitter.
Never say never.
Actually, Buffalo Disrupt HR reached out to me on LinkedIn, or was it email? Doesn't matter. They wrote me and asked me if I would audition. Mm-hmm. So I said, sure, I will do that. So I did, and I was selected on the spot. It was very cool. They were supposed to be like a week before you found out, and they made me an offer to come and speak in the audition, which was neat. So I went there October 16th. It was so stressful. I'm standing there. I am not a quitter, and I'm standing there getting ready to go on the stage. And I thought, well, if I walked up to Janine and said, you know what, I think I'm going to take a pass and not do this, would that be a bad thing? I've never thought that in my life, but and I'm never nervous to public speak, but the whole format with the slides auto changing every 15 seconds and having to keep up with, or was it 15? And I had to keep up with the slides and end in the 5-minute mark. That I am not a planner. I'm like a spontaneous person.
Too many rules.
Too many rules. That's exactly right. So it was stressful, but it went well.
Disruptive. I don't know.
So I'm disrupting around resumes. My talk is called Resumes Don't Fit in the Future of Work.
And so people that don't know who you are and are just visiting this randomly for the first time, tell us your background before we talk about why resumes no longer work. Because I want to frame this in the correct way that people can understand where you're coming from. Because
well, I'm Kristin, totally shocked
you did YouMap and you have a background before that. So
yeah.
Kind of wrap this up in context so we can understand.
So I actually have a background in IT. I was in IT, which is why I'm a pirate enthusiast, because IT folks like pirates and pirate jokes. And
we share the IT background.
That's right. Speaking like pirates on international pirate. Talk Like a Pirate Day, do all that.
Pirate Day.
Yeah. So I have an IT background, and I was a software developer, if you can believe it. And then I moved into reporting and analytics. I was like in business intelligence and interface with clients to help them solve their data problems.
BI, as we call it.
Yep. And then I moved into operations management, and I led a team of 31 people in a call center environment, which was every day was very interesting. And then I moved into learning and development, which is where my passion was, helping leaders and their teams. So I did a lot of workshops with various teams. I was responsible for associate learning in the organization at a Fortune 16. And so I was responsible for new hire orientation and onboarding.
Which is an entire process.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize how much of an investment it is to train an individual to bring into an organization and a culture.
Yeah, and most training dollars are wasted because we don't do it well. So, but anyway, that's another story.
That's another episode.
That's another episode. Yeah, so I was responsible for new hire orientation, associate development strategy, instructor-led training, blah, blah, blah. And while I was in that environment, I started to really get interested in career coaching people. I got certified as a career coach in 2007 by my company.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been doing it on the side.
A few minutes, yeah.
Forever, yeah. And so I started doing a ton of career coaching when I worked in the L&D space, helping employees find the right fit in the company or not, if there was no place for them. No shame in that.
No.
So yeah, I started to enjoy that so much, and my boss was like, "Hey, like you're spending too much time coaching people," and I was like, "Well, I guess I'll go somewhere else to my house."
So you enjoyed coaching. I call it the corporate orphanage. You know, your first dive out of the corporate office, you kind of get that, oh, I have nobody around me anymore. It's like I can do anything I want.
Well, actually, interestingly, they gave me a contract. So for 3 years, I coached emerging leaders to help them be better managers, which is why I'm writing the new book. It's not just like I guess, about that stuff. I actually do have a background in coaching managers to be successful. So I did that as a contractor.
Brilliant.
So it was cool. I had like 10 senior leaders and 10 new leaders. So I had 20
So you had a
people.
bridge.
Yeah. And I coached them for a year, and then I'd get a new batch of people for a year and just repeat, lather, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
I can't believe you haven't asked me to tell my pirate joke.
It's coming. It's coming. But I want to get your background so we can.
Yeah, that's right. So coaching.
So we're coming up to disrupt. So then you wrote the book YouMap.
Well, actually, I've written 2 books before YouMap. This new one is my 4th book.
All right.
So yeah, I wrote a book on career empowerment for women, the 5 factors for success for women, based on research, not my guess. And then I wrote a book called 5 Surprising Steps to Land the Job Now to help people nail an interview and get that job. Okay. Then I wrote YouMap because I created YouMap and I was coaching with YouMap, and now I certify people to coach with YouMap. But I noticed a lot of people would call and say, "Hey, I want to do this. I know I need this, but I can't afford it." So I was like, gotta write a book, because we can't have people not be able to navigate their career and figure out who they are and where they fit because they can't afford it. So that's why I wrote the book.
So who is the book for primarily? Because that's what I know you most for. And I've had Lori Knutson and Steve Sullivan, and I think Lila's scheduled to be on the show.
Oh, awesome.
And so I have, it's phenomenal. And I just love the community that you've built around what you're doing, and all of the amazing people that I know as a result of being connected through YouMap. So
the book is for
applause, silent applause, a round of silent applause.
Oh, thank you. So the book is a specific flavor of YouMap. So YouMap is literally for everyone, because it helps people figure out their strengths, their values, their preferred skills and interests. So if you're an entrepreneur, how do you figure out how to spend your time in your business? What role should you play? Right. If you're a student, what career path should you pursue? If you're trying to change careers, what would that look like for you? If you're getting ready to do your next half of life and you want to figure out how to spend that time more meaningfully, it helps you do that. So it's really for anyone who's looking for, if you want to get a promotion, how can you figure out what your assets are to tell a compelling story? So it's really for anyone who's trying to level up or move laterally or trying to figure out their place in the world.
Anywhere along the journey would be a valuable.
Yeah, anyone who has a career, it's for.
Got it. Anyone that has a career or wants a career. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So now what about the next book you're getting ready to release?
Oh, so excited about this project. It's called Your Team Loves Mondays, right?
Right.
So
I love Mondays. Mondays are good for me.
I love Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, all the same, all good.
All the days. I love all of the days.
All of the days. That's right. So I wrote this book because what I noticed a pattern as I was helping people with YouMap, they're trying to flee their managers and their organizations. And I thought, well, I kept investing a lot of effort to help job seekers get out of bad situations. And it's kind of like when you go skiing and there's this hill and everyone keeps falling over the hill and breaking their legs at the bottom, it's kind of like building a hospital at the bottom of the hill instead of putting up a fence so people stop falling over the hill. So I thought, you know what, I have to move up a level here.
Change the rules of this game a little bit.
That's right. And so I wrote the book to help managers not suck is the short form. And, you know, I say that everyone, I did a global survey and I asked people if they thought they were a good manager, and 89% of people thought, yes, I'm a good manager. But Gallup surveys show 89% of people think their managers are not good. So the math doesn't work out there.
There's a disconnect there somewhere.
Yeah. I believe people go to work wanting to do a good job. You don't really have people who go to work who say, I'm going to make my employees' lives hell today. It sure seems like that in some people's situations.
Yeah.
But they really in their mind feel justified. There's some sort of a disconnect between the manager and the employee, and they start to feel like they're the victim and they're trying to save themselves from this employee. And it's usually just assumptions and misunderstandings. So basically, I wrote the book to help managers with practical tools. I actually walk them through and show them how to properly hire someone, from what are the competencies I need to how do you build a job description to how do I now onboard this person. It has an actual sample onboarding plan, and how do you create an onboarding plan, to training them, to developing them. It has a complete employee development process. You can even apply it to yourself as the manager.
Yeah.
And then now how do I retain people? And there's a whole bunch of advice around how do you not demotivate your employees and retain
So this
people.
would be a great publication to distribute to founding CEOs and people in that environment that are transitioning from a freelancer, solopreneur, growing a company and growing a team, so they can actually get the foundation in place and really understand. Because a lot of times, and I think, you know, being in and out of corporate environments and running teams and, you know, IT and technology and advertising and, you know, different areas, is that a lot of times people get promoted because they do a great job, and they get promoted beyond their skill set and training because it's a much different approach when you're managing others versus managing your own output.
Oh yeah. So individual contributor skills may be strategizing, testing, writing, analyzing, selling, whatever you're doing. But then you get into manager skills, and now we're talking about hiring, objectivity, delegation, mentoring. They're completely different skills. And not only does that person probably not have training, because 66% of managers don't receive any training in their first 3 years of management on average. But in addition to that, they don't even know if that's what they're wired to do or if they'll like it.
Well, and that's very common practice. Is like, I imagine I want to get there because that's the next logical step that everybody says.
That's what everyone said in the survey. I'm a manager because it was the next logical step.
It's the next step on the ladder. It's like, that's the only place I can go. I either stay where I am or I get promoted to a manager. And then they get promoted to a manager and they hate their job. They're all stressed out. They're working more hours than they imagined. And it's hey, been there, done that. You know, it's like, so disrupt, full circle now. It's like you were talking about why resumes don't work. So can we tie this back together? Because there's a theme here. And then I want a pirate joke from you.
Okay, so resumes don't work for a lot of reasons. It took me 5 minutes to explain it in the talk, but I will give you the Reader's Digest. First of all, they don't work for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of bias in resumes, inherent bias, and the applicant tracking system has bias in it as well. Because a lot of people will say don't blame the ATS, but when you think about it, why was the ATS created? To filter out undesirable candidates.
Yeah.
So there is inherent bias in applicant tracking systems. So I will never defend them.
It's a designed bias.
Yeah. Design bias. Absolutely. So they don't work for mature workers. They don't work for career changers, early careerists, people with gaps, and people who are entering back into the workforce, which is starting to become the majority of people. And as baby boomers get older and more people are having to step away from the workforce to take care of their aging parents, because we don't have enough nursing homes, by the way, to take care of all the boomers, they're going to be more and more people with gaps.
I'm a caregiver. Yeah. That's why I'm here in Arizona.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be touching almost everyone. So So that's one thing. The second thing is, it's really difficult for people to tell their story. And so I do not believe in systems that have class discrimination. And so people are like, oh, just hire someone to tell your story. Well, the reality is that it's very expensive to get a good resume. You're looking at over $500 and up to $2,000. And there are lots of people who would have to make the decision on, should I pay my rent or should I get a resume?
Right.
And I am fervently opposed to things that have class discrimination like that. So that's one of the big reasons I have a problem with resumes. I understand it's a livelihood for people, and I don't mean to offend people who do it.
Yeah.
There are lots of generous people like Tamara Toffolo, who gives away free advice.
Skill to have.
No, not at all.
It's just because of the way I'm thinking back. I'm not sure that I've ever been hired from a resume. Ever.
I haven't. I know I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, never. Yeah.
Actually,
that's not true. Once they found my resume and contacted me. I had uploaded it to Monster like 12 years ago. Don't do that.
All right. Score one for resumes.
Yeah. So there's other reasons why they won't fit the future of work that I won't get into. That's just the lagging indicators. There are a lot of leading indicators, AI and technology and millennials and how they are with values and how they are willing to be treated by employers. And there's a lot of different things, globalization, mobility. Those things are all going to affect how we recruit.
The fact that we're even on this broadcast is an indication that things are changing. 5 years ago, this was not a thing. Now we're seeing live streaming everywhere. I have friends all over the world as a result of this kind of technology, and IT is moving at an incredibly fast rate.
Absolutely.
And things are growing and building. So, and I just want to take a moment and thank everyone. I haven't looked at the feed to see who's joined us, Kristin. So
feel free to look at the feed.
I thought maybe I could take a look at the feed and you could possibly tell us a pirate joke.
All right. So a pirate walks into a bar and the bartender looks at the pirate and says, "Wow, you look terrible. What happened to you?" And the pirate says, "Arr, what do you mean?" And the bartender says, "Well, the last time I saw you, you had 2 legs and now you only have 1 leg." And he says, "We were in a battle and the cannonball hit me leg and I lost me leg, but the surgeon fixed me up." And the bartender says, "Well, that explains that. But last time I saw you, you also had 2 hands. What happened?" He says, "We were in a battle and we got on the enemy ship and he cut off my hand with me sword and now the surgeon fixed me up and now I have me hook." He says, "Okay, well, that explains that. But last time I saw you, you had 2 eyes and now what's with this patch?" And he said, "We're on the deck, matey, and this bird pooped in me eye." And the bartender says, "Well, you shouldn't lose an eye for that." And he said, "Well, I wasn't used to me hook."
Oh, that's funny. So Sherry, Lanny, Jordan, Thomas, Carol, Jennifer, everybody that's joining here, Kristin is just, it's amazing. And thank you for that joke. I really appreciate that. I wasn't used to the hook. We're having fun here on Pirate Broadcast, and Kristin Sherry is here to share stories about some of the things that are going on in YouMap, her new book, Disrupt Speaking Engagement and Resumes Don't Work, and just having fun with Pirate Day and pirate jokes and everything else that goes along with it. So if you're watching this in the future and you're watching the replay, thank you, all the gratitude in the world, and all of you that have joined in today. I just wish you the most wonderful day ever, and all the gratitude in the world for being here. So thank you so much for doing this. And thank you so much for joining us, Kristin, and sharing some of these stories. I just love this and highlighting people out there doing things in the community that need to be highlighted. It's just, it's important work. And I think we're having fun and we can enjoy this. And and share a couple of things that are going on and what's in the future of Kristin. So,
well, I just want to give a quick shout out to a couple of people. For those of you who are interested in the resume talk and you're feeling the pain, definitely follow Kamara Toffolo, KAMARATOFFOLO. Tough ALO. I can write her name, but saying it, Kamara. Yeah. And she does office hours on LinkedIn where she answers resume questions, and she has really great videos on YouTube. Her Tuesday 10, and Carrie Twigg is another really great person to follow for resume advice. I trust both of them, and they give good advice. And so, just for those of you who are needing help, and so what's going on? Well,
yeah, what's next on the range for Kristin?
There is a lot of stuff going on. I've decided to look into doing Disrupt HR in Charlotte probably on the same topic. I'm not sure. I'm trying to get to Dubai in I guess this spring. I can't talk about the project in detail, but I wrote a chapter for a new book. And it's a collaboration with a dozen authors, high-profile people in the Middle East, and I was invited to contribute the first chapter of the book, which I'm really excited. But I haven't gotten the go-ahead to announce the book yet. So, but it's a super big deal, and it's going to be pretty epic.
Congratulations!
Thank
Sounds
you.
like a fun project.
And my next project is I'm writing a children's book.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's super outside of my comfort zone. I'm already like, this is so hard. How hard is it to write 800 words in 32 pages? Well, it's a lot harder than I anticipated. So props to the children's book authors. But it's a book to help children realize that, one of the things we say to kids a lot is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
They get asked that question constantly, and I don't like that question because, number one, 40-year-olds don't know that. So the book is going to teach kids to focus on who they want to be when they grow up and really look inward. And so it's cool because the book features my daughters. So my daughter, Evelyn and Catherine, they're going to be Evelina and Katerina because my husband calls them that when he makes up stories, when he tells them stories. And Katerina is going to be like a woodland pixie, and she's the magical guide for Evie, my younger one. Although she's going to be age advanced to 10. The illustrators will draw my daughters in the book. And essentially, Katerina is going to take Evie on this magical journey, and she'll throw pixie dust and bring up images and ask her the questions that I would ask young people to figure out who they are. And so it's sort of a precursor to career book for children.
Wow.
And I'm pretty excited. The working title is Happily Evie After because Evie is the main character.
Oh, how cool. How cool.
Yeah.
And I think the whole story that we write or we tell or we share that has been told, I maybe it's less, I don't know if it is less or not, but it's like, okay, you graduate school, you go to college, and then you go get a job, and you go out in the career, and happiness takes place. It's like that's not necessarily true for everyone. And
oh my goodness.
And it's really, I look at my journey and all of the things and experiences I've had and all of the changes and, left turns and everything that's taken place. And it's just amazing. I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that I would, that aren't necessarily happy news. However,
that led you to where you are today, and you wouldn't be the person you are without them.
The accumulation of experience brings me to who I am today.
Exactly. And you're pretty awesome. So
I'm pretty happy with who I am today. So I'm just thinking, setting expectations like that is like, what do you want to do when you grow up?
We set expectations that life is linear, and it absolutely, unequivocally is not.
Is not linear.
Right.
No, absolutely not. And I think more people are becoming aware of that. And I think that's a reflection on the younger generation that, hey, they saw this in their parents like myself, and they understood that, hey, these things are not necessarily guaranteed. You don't have job security is kind of a thing of the past. This work 40 years and retire with a gold watch is like fantasy
My
anymore.
dad got the gold watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. My dad did as well. It's like
first generation, no gold watch. I do have a nice stainless steel watch, however. I had to pay for it.
I didn't get anything like that. So I spent 25 years in companies that no longer exist. So it's like,
hey, can I give a props to Allison Buckland?
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
Buckland is up in here changing my life. I started the Arbonne 30 Days to Healthy Living, and boy, I kind of went sideways this morning because I forced a unripe avocado in my chocolate protein shake, so it tasted like tobacco and death. Don't force avocados, folks. It's
she's on the broadcast.
So. Oh, is she? Oh, that's funny.
She says life is not linear. Love that, Kristin. So true. So,
yeah, Allison is awesome. The best, and so she's encouraged me because I'm sedentary because I write so many books.
Yeah,
I don't eat unhealthy, but I'm sedentary, and that's a problem. And Shar Auckland has been great trying to get me off my butt too. And by the way, she created that working title for the children's book, so I got to give her props too.
Oh,
but Allison is just so supportive. If anyone is trying to release weight or get healthier, you've got to reach out to Allison. She's awesome.
She's on a future episode of the Pirate.
Oh, she's the best. So positive.
So, yeah, I love her. Mm-hmm. And also, I think I'm going to publish a list of people that are going to be on the Pirate broadcast because it's an amazing list and so many people. And I've invited a few other people on the Pirate broadcast. And I just really believe that there's a lot of people that need to be highlighted. They need to have a light shined on them like yourself that, you're doing your thing, you're writing your books and everything else. But I think a lot of the audience doesn't have the opportunity to connect and really find out who you are and what you're doing. And I think it's really important that we share these things because it's a trigger and an idea that could plant the seed for someone else to do something great.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Just remember 7 years ago, I was schlepping in a call center as a frontline manager. And now there's nothing wrong with that, but it was not meant for me. And it was a really bad fit for me.
I think that's the bigger issue, though. I think
that's totally the issue because there were operations managers that were like rock and roll on that team. They got their team members promoted and invested in them, and they were just amazing at their jobs. But it was not a good fit for me. And if I had just believed, well, this is all there is, and I didn't step out there. Jennifer Spohr, by the way, is the person to talk to if you have limiting beliefs about busting through the walls. Oh my gosh, you know all the movers and shakers.
Jennifer is a pirate.
Yeah. Did you know that John's is my mom's maiden name, by the way? We're probably related.
Really?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Sorry, I don't mean to derail you.
That's okay. Derail me all you want. That's the whole point of this conversation is where can the journey of the conversation take us? Because I always think if we have a conversation long enough, we'll always find a thread. Mm-hmm. I've discovered strange things about a lot of people. It's like, oh, we're connected with that way.
I have a lot of strange things about me if you dig for just a moment.
Yeah. I think another 30 minutes, we could probably cover a few more. But we're pirates in IT. What more do you want, right?
I think you should make everyone who comes on the broadcast tell a pirate joke. They don't necessarily have to sport the hook like I did. But by the way, this is a bread hook.
That is awesome. I love that.
I'm all about the props.
All about the props. Thanks for bringing it to the show today, Chris. It's awesome. It's so going back. I mean, and we need to wrap up because I want to be cognizant of your time and your day and everything that's going on. And I know you don't have heat on the first floor, so it's like she's freezing. And so you have a book coming up. You have a child's book coming up. You're getting ready to publish another book. You're just on fire.
I have my next 3 books lined up, actually, not including the children's book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like to write books.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I like to help people, and the book is the vehicle that I do that with.
Well, and I love that you're here, and I love that you're sharing this stuff. And there's a lot of people that we're in the circle, and we just haven't had the opportunity to stop and chat yet. So I appreciate and applaud you for sharing you and your gifts and everything that you've got going on and helping the world out. So
Well, it
thank you
was
so
an
much.
absolute pleasure. I'm sad it's ending because I could just talk to you and wear my fez all day.
Well, if you want to talk to me anytime, we can just schedule a time and we can have a conversation, because there's a lot of things that we could do together and help lift others up around us. So I love the fact that you're wearing. I
A
love that hat.
fez. Do you know how to spell fez?
I don't. I
It's
don't.
F-E-Z.
Fez.
My son was a Doctor Who fan, and there was an episode with a fez. Thus, we have a fez in the house.
Oh, nice.
We have a lot of hats in this house. We're a big dress-up family.
I have several hats. In fact, I have a huge hat collection. So
Now, fedoras or ball caps.
I wear pork pies all the time.
I don't even know what a pork pie is.
Oh, you don't know what a pork pie is? I'll show you a pork pie.
Is that those like 1930s hats that like the newspaper boys used to wear?
Yeah, here's a pork pie.
Oh, okay. Does Mario Pareca wear those too? And why am I thinking that?
I don't know. I usually wear a black one. It's usually a black one. That's my
suits
brand.
You.
So if you go to russjohns.com, you can see me on the cover.
Do you ever wear the bowlers or no?
I haven't found a bowler that I like yet.
Oh, that guy Jason with the beard that wears one. He's got a nice one. Is his name Jason with the beard? Who?
Yeah.
Tell me in the comments, who is that?
Yeah, who is that
guy's last name?
He's
out of New York. With another bearded guy. They have a business.
Yeah.
Do you know who I mean?
I believe I do.
Yeah.
He was on the so there was a comment that was doing a beard competition. It's like, who has the best beard on LinkedIn?
Oh my gosh, my husband would win that contest hands down. I made him cut it, but my husband can grow a freaking Afghan on his face. Like, it's insane, and it's like big and rectangle, and it can go down to his stomach. If you Google his dad, David Sherry, big old, you'll see where he gets it from genetically. His dad is pediatric rheumatologist at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. So there's lots of pictures of him on the internet, that big old beard. But my husband's is thicker. It's small children stare because it's a wonderland of woodland animals probably living in there.
Well, when I was in Houston, I used to have a full beard, and it kind of got out of control. So when I got here,
yes, you have a fine beard.
I did my Arizona cut. So
you know what you should do when you wear that hat? You should get that pomade or whatever.
Yeah, I need the wax.
Do the curly mustache like back in the circus days.
Yeah,
that would look rad.
Handlebars, and I went in and I said, "Could you trim my mustache up a little bit?" And so she cut it off. My handlebars.
No.
Like, no, that's not what I meant.
Oh no.
I just haven't.
I hope you had her arrested.
No. Well, Kristin, thank you so much for being here today. I know you're as awesome as I imagined, and even better in person. So thank you so much for being here. And all of the wonderful people that have joined us. I just want to give a shout out. Allison, Sherry, Kenyatta. I mean, there's so many. Yeah. I mean, it's the long list is here. Rob and Kathy, Angie, Bruce, thank you so much for everyone joining in.
The first person who types a comment of what the 3 things that in my joke that the character was missing, I'll send you a signed copy of my book, YouMap.
You heard it here, folks. First, folks. That is awesome. Thank you so much. That's very
Absolutely.
Good. So, you know the words. Kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.